Salutations, guys! Thanks for coming back on this hot summer day. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day today. We're going to talk about another letter sound, the sound that this letter makes, the letter Q. Say Q. Now, there's two ways to teach the sound of the letter Q. Your teacher might say that Q says qua, qua, qua. But I teach my students that yes, Q does make the qua sound, but he needs his best friend to do it. And who is Q's best friend? You. Here's a Q and a U together. When Q and U are together, they say qua. You will always find a U whenever you see a Q. So you just kind of have to remember that when Q is with his best friend, together they say qua. Okay? It's the same sound. It's just a different way to think about it and look at it. Q says qua, but he needs his best friend U with him. Okay, guys? I'll show you what I mean in a minute. First, let's practice saying the Q sound. I'm going to say it first. Listen to me, and then you make the sound. Ready? Qua, qua. Your turn. Good. You made the Q sound. Now let's look at this little book from Lakeshore and see things that begin with that qua sound. On the front cover, I see a certain coin that's worth 25 cents. It's a quarter. Say quarter. Qua, qua. You kind of stick your lips out like a little duck face. Qua, qua. Quarter. Quarter begins with the letter Q. All right, now let's look at this book more closely and see what else begins with that qua sound. What would this be, guys? I see a lady and she's got very fancy clothes on. She's holding a scepter and she's got a crown on her head. What would that be? Did you say queen? Qua, qua, queen. Queen begins with the qua sound. Now let's look at this sentence, and I want to show you what I mean about Q always needing his best friend, the letter U, with him. My sentence says Q is for queen. Now let's look at that word queen really closely. Do you see the U is right behind the Q? Q, U, qua, qua. Q always is with his buddy, the U. This is a very special kind of bird. He's got a little feather that kind of hangs over his face. Do you see that? He's a quail. Qua, qua, quail. Say quail. Good. And what's the beginning sound of quail? Qua, qua. That's right. And in my sentence, there's the word quail, and I see a QU. Do you see the QU? They're always together. Best buddies. All right. Now this may be something new to you. I see a feather, and I see a little jar with some ink in it. Ink is what mommy and daddy might use in a pen like this. That's what makes it draw on the paper. There's ink in here. But a long time ago, guys, they didn't have pens like this. They would write with ink in a little jar and a feather plume. They'd stick it in the ink and then they would write. It's called a quill. Qua, qua, quill. Q is for quill. Say quill. Good. And what's the beginning sound of quill? Qua, qua, quill. Good. Oh goodness, look, it's four babies. One, two, three, four. But wait a minute. Babies, that's a B sound. But when you have four babies together, they're all born together, brothers or sisters, they're all brothers, they're called quadruplets. That means four babies were born. Say quadruplets. Quadruplets. Wow, that's hard to say, isn't it? The beginning sound of quadruplets is qua, qua, qua. There's that Q-U. Together, Q and U. Say qua. That's right. Good, guys. This is a very beautiful blanket that's sewn together with lots of different little pieces of cloth. It's called a quilt. Say quilt. Qua, qua, quilt. Q is for quilt. Ooh, what's this? You'll see this when you're reading a book sometimes if somebody's asking something. It's a question mark. Say question mark. Good. Qua, qua, question mark. What's the beginning sound of question mark? Did you say qua? If you did, you were right. Question mark begins with a QU, which says qua, qua, qua. All right, I think there's one more page here. Ooh, there is. Wow, look at this. It's a beautiful, shiny rock, and part of it is transparent. I can see through it. It's called quartz. Qua, qua, quartz. Say quartz. Good. Now, what's the beginning sound of quartz? Did you say qua? Say qua, qua, quartz. Good. All right, guys, that's my little book about the letter Q and his sound. Now, your teacher may not talk about QU together, making a sound, and that's okay. But every time I see the letter Q in a sentence, in a word, he is always with his very best friend, you, qua.